This is interesting from our beloved leaders in the government. The UK economy is growing, but people are worse off because of higher inflation, higher taxes, the stealth taxes. Look at all the times when you park your car and you're a millimetre on the yellow line, you get a ticket. Or even car parks, which are private car parks, the supermarket ones, stick a ticket on. It's all stealth taxing, isn't it? All stealth taxing. I've never known price increases like the last 5 years in this country. I really haven't. And I've travelled quite a lot in Europe and Africa as well. They live a better quality of life than us now. The UK was always ahead of things. Even professional people earn 40, 50,000 a year aren't living a particularly good life. And I fear for the people who are on less than that. And I fear for the people who are, coming to pension age who haven't got a private pension. Because that's pretty poor as well. £5 for a box of cornflakes. What's all that about? So just living a normal life in the UK is a struggle for a lot of people now. Unless you're shielded by a very good pension or a lot of investment, people are struggling into older age. I was in Morrison's, Newcastle, the other day, and there's a woman there, 71, talking to our colleague who's a similar age, 71, saying we shouldn't have to be doing this, all because of the inflation rates. It's as simple as that. The food inflation rate is absolutely incredible. So the economy is growing, but the people are worse off. How do we fix it? Any ideas? Do you think Burnham's going to make any difference? Will the change of government make any difference? I don't think so. I think they're all there to for their own gain at the end of the day. One thing my mother said years ago when I was young was it doesn't matter who's in government, if you work for a living, you're never going to be better off. Think about that. It's true, isn't it? No matter what age you are now, you think, if the government changed tomorrow, would you be any better off? Not substantially. You're not going to be able to go and buy a yacht, are you? You know what I mean? And you probably won't get evicted. But your life won't change minimally. I remember I was in the police with a lad called Andy, and he was very much a Tory. Conservatives were in. I think the police got about a 2% rise. I said, oh, isn't it, he was just like this, isn't it wonderful, Stephen, that we've got a rise of 2.2%? I said, have you worked it out, what we can get with that 2.2%? Oh, no, I haven't worked it out. I said, you can buy a sausage roll from Greggs. That's extra. What a wonderful rise that was. You know what I mean? We've got to be mindful of this. I'm not sure whether this reform lot are any good. I think they're low on themselves. It's only going to be the two major parties, isn't it, Labour and Conservative. But like I said, if you're an ordinary working person, even a professional person these days, it matters not which government's in power, seems to me. It really doesn't make a lot of difference. But the inflation rate has to come down at some point, because I've seen people who look pretty well off at times now struggling, really are. And it's a shame because they've worked all their lives and they get to the point where they retire. Retirement age is going up all the time and they're not living a very good life. My advice to you, if you're young especially, is to get some savings, get a pension plan as early as possible. If you start a pension plan at 20, you've got a good chance of getting a reasonable income. If you start at 30, it's twice as much money you've got to put in. It gathers pace, it's that quick. One day you're 20, you think you're never going to be 30 or 40 or 50 or 60, and you suddenly are. You're left with nothing. So, get yourself some savings and shop around a little bit for stuff. Don't just go to M&S all the time or the same shop at Tesco. There are other ones, you know what I'm saying. Be mindful of the cost of living, because it will bring you down fast and snow off a dike. AI is going to come in. It's a survival of the fittest now. Do some research on things. Don't waste money. That's probably one of my biggest regrets. I was a big drinker, I wasted a lot of money on alcohol. I've got another channel called Alcohol Free Lifestyle. I wasted a lot of time, a lot of money on alcohol. Don't do that. Don't start smoking. It's another thing. I didn't smoke, thankfully, but it's another waste of money, isn't it? Cost of living. That's what I'm going to talk about this week. Any comments you've got, drop me a line.